Hey, thank you, brown bread. This is a good thing. Just want to say that. Men might not tell you. Anyway, 2 years ago, I decided it was time to burn out. All my successful friends had given it a shot, and upon hitting my mid-30s, I figured it was my turn to see what all the fuss was about. It all started when I accidentally booked myself up for way too many ministry commitments. You know, I'd always been a yes man, but on this occasion, I'd really bitten off more than I could chew. And gradually, I felt my body begin to stop as I literally struggled to walk. It had taken 15 years of workaholism, but all the gas had finally leaked out of my tank. And then, out of the blue, a young leader I had mentored and invested hugely in killed herself. And it was gutting beyond words. We worked around the clock trying to prevent her death from becoming a contagion to the teenagers she worked with. And slowly I began to feel a darkness and a self-loathing come over me that I just couldn't shake. I wanted to hide from my shame in some remote mountain. And then lastly, I received a phone call asking me to consider applying for a huge new job. And it was a job that I both felt a call towards for years, and yet it was a job that I felt woefully underprepared for. And it was a job that I felt would ultimately strain my marriage and see time with my young family taken away. And as I hung up the phone, in that moment, I was finally undone. I was a physical, emotional, and vocational wasteland. And I sat in front of my wife with a dead stare over my face, my palms over my eyes, as she rubbed my shoulders with her elbows, and my muscles were full of rocks. I want to quit. I hate this city. It's just a pile of rubble. I'm just a pile of rubble. I hate my job. I want to become a potter or a printmaker or a baker, even a lawnmower, but not a priest. I want to escape this curse of a calling God's put on my life. I'm a fraud. I'm an imposter. I just can't do this anymore. And so I left the city and I headed for the wilderness, a 7-day silent retreat to wrestle with God. Now, lots of people said that they'd come with me, but one by one they slowly bailed until a single comrade was left, Jamie, a sprightly 21-year-old carpenter who took 7 days off work to head to the hills with a sad 36-year-old clergyman. Not what most 21-year-olds dream of. We tramped into this old hut in the woods. It had no power, only a long drop, and the bunk room had the scent of a bedwetter who liked asparagus. But it had a roaring fireplace and a balcony that rested in a bellbird-infested bush overlooking Governor's Bay. And Jamie and I arrived, and we had lunch, and then we sat down. And then our eyes faced each other, and then we just burst out laughing at the absurdity of what we were about to put ourselves through. And then we turned our phones off, and we lit a candle, and we said a midday prayer, and together we went into the silent land. Now, those 7 days were both utterly miserable and glorious as God spoke to me vividly. He invited me to confront my ego and to rediscover my playfulness. He invited me to grieve and to begin accepting who He'd actually made me to be rather than the Superman that I wanted to be. I needed that retreat to detox from the noise of the city and all the voices in it that I'd allowed my self-worth to be defined by. I needed that retreat to make friends with myself and to make friends with my God and my calling again. I needed that retreat to learn how to be rather than just do. I needed that retreat to transform my pain so that I wouldn't transmit it to others. And 7 days later, as I walked down from that hut, I left as a leader with battle scars, but also as a leader who was happier and healthier and humbler. I left that hut like someone who'd learnt how to breathe again, like someone who was ready to return to his calling, to return to his city, this broken city with God in its name. Amen.